Here I'm going to be tying a little streamer pattern. I haven't come up with a name for it, but it seems to be pretty effective with bass and sunnies. The hook I'm using is an Umpqua U301, size 6. I'm using some dark brown UTC 70. And then what you want to do is take some pearl flashabou, about maybe 5 strands. It doesn't really matter. Cut those off. A short one there. And then what you want to do is wrap it around your thread. Bring it up, and then start tying it down to about the the midpoint between the point and the barb, and wrap back, get that nice and secure. And I'm not going to cut this yet, I'm going to do that at the end. And then what I'm going to do here is just get some sparkle chenille. I don't exactly remember what it's called, but it's the stuff that's got a little bit of flash in it. This is a medium size. And take about 2 card widths of that. And tie it in on top. And then tie back to the same spot as the flashabou. And what I'll do now is just make a few wraps forward and back to sort of build up the body a small amount. And then you take your chenille and wrap it forward to your thread, which should be hanging at the initial tie-in point. And you'll want to tie that down with some nice secure wraps, because this is the thicker version of the chenille. Generally tends to want to slip free a little more than the thinner stuff. Take a few more wraps to really bind that down. And sort of wrap back a little ways to give yourself some room for the next step. And what you do is invert the hook, and if I can find it, there it is, take some white marabou blood quills, or 1 really, is all you need for this. If I can pull it out, there we go. And what you want to do is just strip off the shorter fibers. You don't want them getting in the way. And wetting your fingers for this next part really helps, because it sort of gathers the marabou together. Makes it easier to manage. And because blood quills sort of have stringy tips, I like to break those off. And I break them off rather than snip them because it gives it a more natural look. And you want to tie them in, and then you want to tie the marabou in so it's about 1.5 hook shanks past the bend of the hook. And you want to tie it down really firm. You can then snip the excess out. And it's a little difficult because the leftover marabou wants to sort of clog up the eye. You can just pull it back with a few thread wraps. And make sure you get as much marabou covered as you can. And forming the head. And turn it back over. And then you can whip finish just 4 times. Cut that free. I'm going to re-invert the hook, or invert the hook again. Gather up the marabou, and then split it as evenly as you can down the middle of the hook. This can be a little more difficult if the stem is a bit thicker like it is on this one. This next bit is pretty tricky. What you want to do is hold the marabou back and then tie your thread back in right above the barb. Sort of lock it down and makes a little belly on the fly. You can snip the tag end of the fly off. Make a nice little sort of tag there. And then if you have a large whip finish tool, I suggest you use it. It makes it a lot easier. I, however, don't. So I'll just use what I've got. Once you've whip finished, you can snip the thread out. Now I like to use hard as nails on this. Just get the head nice and covered. And a little bit on the top of that tag. And then gather up the flashabou. Which is going to be a little hard because some of it is pretty short. Didn't split it evenly. And cut it off just past the marabou. And that gives the marabou something to hold on to when it's in the water. It'll also give the marabou a nice little kicking action when you strip it. And there you go. It's a nice little fly pattern. A bit tricky to tie, but it's worked pretty well to me. Has a great action underwater. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you in the next one.